Howdy folks, I'm Cerebral Corn Marigold, chivalrously challenging cruel customers.
I'm Amber.
And here are more cruel customers for us to challenge because that's what you do, right? So let's get started on that. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Leaving My Sister After She Showed Up with Her Boyfriend? I'm a 20-year-old female and I organized a day out with my sister, a 21-year-old female. For simplicity, we'll call her Anna. We agreed to go for brunch to start with and then do some shopping, get our nails done, and then maybe finish off with a film if there was anything worth seeing. All this was fine and I really was looking forward to spending some time with her. Well, jump forward to the day and I arrive at the place first and I grab a table. Anna arrives a few minutes later, but I'm shocked to see that she's brought her boyfriend, a 23-year-old male, with her. A little bit of background, Anna tends to only date guys for a couple of months and then gets bored with them, and then she would probably be only seeing this guy for about 3 weeks at this point in time. I try to hide my surprise and to be civil, and we order food. When he leaves to go to the toilet, I ask my sister why she brought him along, since we already agreed that we were going to be doing typically sistery things, and it doesn't really suit him. She said that she didn't want him to feel left out, whatever that means. I said okay, and that I assumed that he would be paying for his own food. She tells me, no, it's your turn. We take turns paying whenever we meet up. I was completely shocked that she expected me to pay for his food as well. I think that she could tell, so she said that she would cover his order. Honestly, the whole thing really annoyed me, and I didn't like the idea of going around stores, trying on clothes, etc., with this guy following along. So, after we paid the bill, and we were leaving the restaurant, I made some kind of excuse and I left. Now my sister is messaging me, asking what happened, and I don't know what to say. Am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. You agreed to one set of plans and your sister altered them by bringing the boyfriend along. First of all, she expected you to pay for him, which was pretty rude of her to make the assumption that you would cover another person without communicating anything. But also, it does change the dynamics to have a stranger following along, especially like if you're trying on clothes and stuff like that.
I do think that the dynamic shift could really be a problem, and I think that OP, was uncomfortable with the situation, and I can certainly understand that. I don't know what the best solution here is, but I think maybe OP could have talked to their sister instead of just making up an excuse and leaving, and said, hey, if he is going to be sticking around, I'm probably going to leave because I don't feel comfortable with him following us around and doing all these things. It could also be that the sister really likes this guy and is actually settling down with him, and she wanted to meet up with OP and show him off and whatnot, So I think that maybe this might have been something that she was thinking about in a different way. Clearly, her expectations about the situation were different from OP's, and I think that that was worth a conversation. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Covering My Eyes? I'm a 19-year-old lesbian. For context, I'm out and everyone knows. I'm in a friends group with a group of guys and playing some drinking card games one of them got at a charity shop. And it was actually ridiculous, some of the stuff that it has to do in it. One of the guys has to literally get his junk out like that's just part of the game. He says that he would do it only if I don't look, specifically, and said his reason was not to make me uncomfortable, not that he's insecure. I said that I literally could not care, I'm completely indifferent, but he insisted. So I cover them, and then once I hear he's out, I uncover them, and after seeing it, I say, holy naked mole rat, and everyone else's laughs. But once they're done laughing, he gets annoyed at me for what I did, and what I said, and then got turned on by all of them for saying what I did. I said that in any world he showed any signs that this was for his own benefit, not trying to play it off like a favor to me, I would have left the room, and everything if asked. But because he made it about me, I didn't see why I couldn't do that as a joke. They said that it was obvious, but I don't know how. I pointed out, kind of just joking to lift the mood, but also kind of serious. It's also not that I can judge. I have about as much interest as the rest of them. So, less so actually. I wouldn't even know how to judge them. So what's the difference? Then I was told, all right, just drop it now. So I'm told I'm wrong, and then dismissed and ignored if I tried to explain myself at all. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, OP, you're a major jerk here. It doesn't matter what his rationale was. You agreed that you weren't going to look at him naked. If you had a problem with that, then you should have expressed it and said that you weren't comfortable playing the game anymore. Like if you felt like you were being singled out or something like that. But you agreed you weren't going to do it. And then not only do you peek, but you also start commenting on something that he may be very sensitive about.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I just think games like this are probably best left at thrift shops.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a reason why it was at the thrift shop and left there. And if not everyone is, consenting to the games, then I think that's really the biggest thing. Is like he consented only if OP wasn't watching,
Mm-hmm.
and she, broke his consent essentially. Now, I think that she does bring up a valid point in the respect that he was playing this off as if it was a favor to OP, which I think was kind of a gross thing to do.
For sure.
But I also don't think that was justified. I don't think OP was justified in looking for that reason, right?
Right.
Um, at the end of the day, I think that OP was wrong for looking, and then especially wrong for making this comment. And I think this comes across as like bullying, because like a lot of people don't want their genitalia commented on,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a negative way. So, yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. The centrifuge.
I mean, fair.
Amber's like, I'm not going to argue with the centrifuge here. Alright, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my husband prolonging a conflict was not quote-unquote protecting his family? Just a little bit ago, I'm a 44-year-old female. My husband, a 50-year-old male, was driving with myself and our two teenagers in the car. Just a little bit ago, I'm a 44-year-old female and my husband, a 50-year-old male, were driving with myself and our two teenage daughters in the car. We exited one freeway to enter another. We had to merge left into traffic, which was done pretty smoothly. Almost immediately afterwards, another lane joined from a different freeway, which becomes an exit only. We needed to be in this lane, and my husband turned on his signal, did a shoulder check, and changed lanes to the right one immediately and began to speed up because the traffic that we were in was going a little bit under the speed limit, which is common right here. Just as he started to do that, a lady in the car in front of us merged over quickly without her turn signal. I said she's merging a little loudly, and he had to stomp on the brake to avoid hitting her. He honked at her, and I believe that he was in his right to do this. She merged without the signal and almost hit us. After we barely avoided hitting her, we followed her. I had a bad feeling, so I told my husband to give her some following room. It was a good thing to do, but she brake checked us really hard. My husband had to slam on the brakes again to avoid hitting her. She brake checked us so hard that the large truck behind us almost hit us. It was really scary, but at this point it was all on her. She was 100% the bad guy. I thought that it was pretty much over. She had her temper tantrum. We were almost to our exit, and our destination was only a couple of minutes off the exit. However, my husband was mad. He whipped over into the left lane, sped up, got ahead of her. She flipped us off with both hands as we passed, moved over in front of her, and brake checked her really hard. My kids and I knew what he was going to do as soon as he moved over because he tends to have a temper while he's driving. We were screaming at him to stop, and I screamed, "Don't you dare!" But he did it anyways. Luckily, she didn't hit us, and the poor truck that was now behind her didn't hit her. She followed us off the exit and then drove on our bumper for a bit, but didn't follow us when we turned off the road. My kids were both crying and I was mad. He parked at a store that we were going to. My kids got out, but they needed to take a minute to calm down. So he went to the store ahead of us. We were mad at him the whole time, which just made him angry. He claimed that he was protecting his family, and he said that she needed to learn a lesson. The kids and I told him that she was in the wrong, but if he really wanted to protect his family, he would have just given her a ton of space after she brake checked us, or went into the left lane and we could have used the nearest exit. I said that she wasn't the type of person to learn her lesson just because he got aggressive. He kept just saying that he was taking care of his family. He truly believes that what he did was protecting us. I told him that he's wrong. He was putting us in danger and putting his anger and his desire for revenge above his family's safety, not to mention the financial aspects if she had hit us and someone told the police what my husband did. I feel like I'm in the right, but he is so adamant that he did the right thing that I'm doubting myself, just a little. He spent the rest of the shopping trip pointing out things that we need and saying, I remember because I take care of my family. So am I the jerk for thinking that he was putting us in more danger? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk, and do not get in the car with him driving again. Do not let him drive your kids again. This man is a danger. Yes, what the other person did was uncool, but this is not protecting the family. This is endangering the family to deal with he has anger issues when it comes to driving, and he needs to handle them maybe with a therapist or some other option than like road raging and putting everyone's lives on the line.
Yeah, the whole doing this kind of thing was actually really crummy on his part. I understand that, like he thinks that he was helping his family, but the fact of the matter is that he scared them and he was putting them in danger. Like high speed crashes like that can cause a lot of damage,
Mm-hmm.
even if they had gotten away with, even if she had hit him, right? Even if they had gotten away with the insurance claim or any number of things, there could have been real permanent danger or damage. Like people get killed in car crashes,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the fact that he was using this car as a weapon here shows that he isn't a responsible driver. And I would say that he needs to go to driving school to learn not to do stuff like this, right?
Well, his whole reaction to the whole situation was really gross.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shutting OP down, and like OP and the kids made it clear they did not feel safe or protected, and he spent the entire shopping trip passive aggressively being like, I
I take
remember this
care of
because I,
people.
and it's like, you don't, dude. And if you can't recognize this, like, you need to be in therapy. You road raged and you're still angry and taking it out on your family.
Yeah, well, and that's it. Is like he is road raging and he is taking this out on his family now, and OP and the kids aren't the ones to blame. He's the one to blame. And he really needs to grow up and not do this kind of stuff and not put his family in danger. Like I think he's just at this point in time living with cognitive dissonance
Mm-hmm.
and thinks that, wants to justify what he did as protection, but really he knows deep down that this wasn't protection, this was
Mm-hmm.
revenge.
Well, and that's why he has to keep saying it. He's trying to paint a narrative and make
Mm-hmm.
his version of events the right version of events, and it simply isn't.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Install an Extreme Tracking Program on My Personal Computer? I work as a video editor for an agency outside of my city. Of course, I work remotely. Things were okay, not the beat, but okay. Before this month started, they said that they would love to hire me as a full-time editor and that they liked my work and didn't want to bring anyone else in besides me. I told them that I had no problem working for them as full-time editor remotely. Okie dokie, we are okay, and he mentioned that there would be a tracking program for productivity and so on. I told him it's okay. He literally said that it only tracks time, like a clock, and analyzes some of the performance of the programs that I use during the working hours. Like if I use PR for 7 hours, it will record that. 3 days later, he sends me a tracking program. Not just a tracking program that I would install on my personal device. I did a quick search and it turns out that the little program that he sent me does a couple of interesting things. It takes screenshots every 10 minutes, it logs every keyboard stroke, randomly activates the camera to take pictures, collects data from the computer while it's running, gives the admin access to the monitor to what I'm doing, and some other stuff that really freaked me out. So I politely told him, I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable with installing something like this on my personal device. He replied with, I already told you that I would send a tracking program. I said, you said a program that tracks time and statistics, not software that heavily invades my privacy. After that, he started sending me multiple voice messages attacking me personally, saying that I'm the only employee refusing to install it and that everyone else uses it normally. He even mentioned that years ago, he personally had software on his own computer, giving his manager 24/7 access. At one point, he said, I'm paying you for 7 hours that belong to me only. How do I know that you're not working for someone else during that time? Okay, I get that. I understand that he's not totally wrong, but still, that's my personal device. I told him that I'm not against the idea, and sure, I wouldn't just say, trust me, bro, but still, I'm against this level of monitoring, especially on my personal device. So, was I wrong? Was I overreacting? Was I being a jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. I mean, if they want an invasive tracking program, they need to provide you with a computer.
Yeah.
But moreover, some of this, like accessing the camera anytime and taking recordings, seems excessive. So,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I think after your interaction with the guy, the way he's been harassing you, it's probably best to drop them and, find a new client to work for because it does not sound like he has your best interests at heart. Um, but yeah, they are 100% in the wrong for expecting you to put this intense tracking on your personal device and have 24/7 access to you.
Yeah, I would say that this is not a reasonable expectation. And I think that his whole, well, how do I know that you're not working for someone else type of thing could be easily defeated in a lot of different ways, right? Well, what happens if OP has another machine that he's using
Yeah.
or she's using, right? And they go ahead and work on that with another company. So this doesn't guarantee that OP isn't doing work for other people. And the fact of the matter is that if OP is getting all their assigned tasks done at the end of the day, then does it really matter what else OP is doing with their time, right? I think that employers sometimes feel like they're entitled to every second of the day that somebody is around and working for them. But the fact of the matter is that, yeah, you're being paid to do a job. And if you're doing that job effectively, then that's what really matters at the end of the day, right? Um, and if the company wants to install this kind of invasive tracking program on OP's personal computer, then they need to they should just supply the OP with an actual computer, right? That way they don't have to worry about this being on their personal computer. Now, for anyone who is in this kind of position where a company is expecting you to install tracking programs on your personal device, what you could actually do is install it on a virtual machine. So you could have a virtual machine running on your computer and install the tracking software on that, and then it will only be contained to that environment. They couldn't see anything else OP did on their own personal machine at any point in time. And so basically, that would be, in my opinion, the best way to kind of get around one of these types of things is install it and put it on a virtual machine and then, let them figure out how to sort things out from there. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Want to hear a joke about paper?
Yeah, sure.
Never mind, it's terrible.
Ah ha 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 ha. And I have Earl Grey. And folks, today is a very special day. It was going to be workplace monitoring day where you get to monitor everyone all day, but we're now just going to have this as ripped paper day. So enjoy your ripped paper day. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy terrific Tuesday, spelled TWO. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and our guidance, and please have it on road rage.
Don't road rage.
Yeah. But thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.